In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to guide you through some steps that I'm taking to install a shower enclosure, right? This is a frameless shower enclosure. Previously, in some other videos, if you're a subscriber, I have how I made this thing. In this particular case, I have some supports on the side of this shower. Now, the important thing when you're doing these things is, first of all, the levels. When you kind of cut the glass, you want to make sure that you have the most accurate measurement, even with the inclination of one side or another. You need to make sure that you give that to the people that are going to cut the glass for you. And now if you hire somebody to do it, obviously it's a different story. But in this case, we're going to put a stationary panel in a 28-inch door over here. It's going to swing both ways with a 3/8 of an inch tempered glass. Now, this glass also has a film or coating that will help to maintain the glass inside better for a longer time. You know, because sometimes with the acidity and stuff like that, glass with the years tend to start kind of fading or kind of, you know, just getting affected on the finishing by the water itself, you know. Important things that you need to consider is that you want to make sure that when you're installing the hinges and all the stuff, they're really well installed and really secure to the wall that you have. Also that you have, you know, the proper swing inside or outside, and if you're able to gain a little bit more space inside the shower, it's better even if you sacrifice a little bit of the symmetry of the, you know, the areas where you have, you know, because, you know, sometimes nobody's going to put attention to that except for you, but if you're able to gain a little more space inside the shower, you know, it's way better. In this case, the shower is fairly big, but yet I want to make sure that if I'm able to put inside a little more space, I will do it with the glass. So we're going to start by that. We're going to start by, you know, doing a lot of measurement and a lot of marks, and then start perforating the tiles. Okay, so once you have your glass already unwrapped and all that, you want to start by making all the lines of the you know, where you want to have the glass enclosure. In this case, it's you know, it's a straight wall. Sometimes you may have corners or whatever. I think I've shown some videos about, you know, angled or cornered shower enclosures. But in this case, I mean, this is the hinge that you're going to use. In this case, we have the cutouts for 2 inches. It has the screws that you want to have them on the outside. I mean, on the inside, and expose a finish on the outside. Now, this thing also comes with these little gaskets or washers, and they are 2 sizes. So the idea is that these hinges actually can be used in 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, or 3/8 glass. In this case, we have 3/8. So we want to make sure that we just use the right gasket so it's nice and tight, but it's not like overdue or, you know, not too loose, because it also has a stop, so it doesn't close completely. It gets to a point that's as much as it can go. So you want to make sure that when you install your glass, it has a little bit of grip. So also you want to use, I have a lot of these little wood shims, and they are excellent to help you to, you know, manage the spaces that you want. Although I know that this shower, because I built it, the shower is draining inside. The step is inside, so I don't have a problem with that. But you want to make sure that whenever you swing the doors both ways, it's not going to hit your step. So let's continue by making all the lines, and I'm going to just support this thing over here, like, you know, pre-fasten the hinge, so I can make some marks about where this is going to be drilled. Now, you have to be careful when you're drilling the wall. Let's say if you have this hinge and you want to maximize the space inside your shower, you don't want to get too close to the edge. You end up with the bits breaking the tile. That happened to me once. I was trying to gain as much space, and I chipped this little corner. So you want to just bring it inside just a little bit more, about, you know, you leave like 3/8 of an inch on the edge, you know, on the side of the hinge, so you have a better support for the drill when you're drilling. So let's continue by making all these marks and all that. Okay, so once you install the hinges on the door, you want to start, like I said before, making all your marks, making sure that everything is fine, using the shims to you know, to kind of lift the door, make sure that it has a space so you can swing in and out. And you want to, you know, install everything nice and level. This is for me, this is the first part that normally works, and this will help me to determine exactly where I want the other stationary piece. So, just make your marks and, have some really good carbide bits and start making the perforations. So after you finish doing all the perforations, I use carbide drill bits. These are, this carbide tip for like concrete and masonry purposes. I use different type of sizes. This is like 1/8 of an inch and the other one is 1/4 inch. So after you do that stuff, it takes a little time. Make sure that you have some water to cool off the bits. So you put your little root blocks. In this case, I have wood in the back, but I mean the first, I would say like 3/4 are just, pure porcelain and like the concrete boards and all the stuff before you get to the studs. So it's good to put some little anchors there, so to help you to maintain that nice and stable. So let's continue putting the stuff with a hammer and just cutting the excess. Okay, so once you finish installing your door, obviously you want to make sure, I just want to make, let you know that when you're installing this, you want to make sure you use the proper drill bit, or let me see, drill tip, like screw tip. Sometimes people may use something a little too small and they may end up damaging the screw. So it's really important to use the proper number of the bit. Now with the door over here and nice and straight and level, we want to make sure that we can come out with the lines that are going to continue our stationary piece over here on this side. So for that, you want to also use your level and pretty much extend the line. Make sure that the line goes all the way straight, and that you actually just kind of place the piece temporarily and make the proper marks to work with. Now this one comes with some little pins that we're gonna support it with. I'm gonna show you in a moment, and we're gonna use some silicone as well to fasten the stationary piece. So let's continue with that. So the next step that you need to take is to, in this case, add the stationary piece. Now a stationary piece, pretty much once you finish installing your door, you wanna superpose the piece just like if you were to install it. So you can notice I have a lot of wood shims, and the reason is that we want to make sure that the levels are fine, and we went ahead and loosen up the hinges, brought them up a little bit, just kind of adjust them so our lines are nice and straight. Once you finish with that, in this case, this type of system has a little piece where the glass actually slides in. So in this case, we're going to use some silicone that has to dry later on to put it together, but they pretty much they enter nice and snug over here in these little clamps, and you make the perforations. Now I want to stress a little bit more about the fact that you want to have few of the carbide bit drill bits, and the reason is that you end up with, especially if you're working with porcelain tiles that are really strong, you want to make sure that you have enough so you don't have the frustration that there will be dough and stuff. So I've been using like 2 of them, and sometimes people just buy one and have to go back and buy more. So that's what it is. So after that, we're gonna put them in. We're gonna finish putting the little, this thing comes with like a little silicone shim. So we put the shims wherever they need to go. We put some silicone inside, and we just kind of slide the piece of tile in. So we'll leave the piece kind of rest over there for the silicone to dry. Okay, so as you can see, the shower enclosure is already finished. It was already drying for a while. Actually, I just put those shims over there to show you, to explain something. It was used once. So what happened is that once you put your stationary piece, you want to make sure that those lines are nice and straight. You want to make sure that the other areas lined up really well, as much as they can be, and that you close, whatever gaps you can close. In this case, a bit of silicone on one side, on the bottom, on this case, and then this one has the little little brush on the bottom that helps to maintain the water inside. And so for that, once you wanna, if you wanna achieve that result, you wanna use a lot of shims, adjust them really well, make sure that you work with somebody because the pieces are really heavy. And that's pretty much it. So I hope this video will give you an idea of how to install your own pieces. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. If you are, thank you as always. See you in the next one. Bye bye.